Hey, welcome to Sail 250.
Yeah, it's a great day out here. I'm meteorologist Christy Stewart.
Jeff Edmondson. This is kind of a little fun part we're going to do on Beyond the Forecast, and we're going to be just kind of working our way. We're going, Bob, where we're going? We're going to Coast Guard?
We're going to try.
We're going to try.
Right.
Okay, we're trying to go to Coast Guard. And, you know, we're next to the Peruvian tall ship. I haven't had a chance to get on board yet. There's a huge line, and
Yes.
it's a very tall ship. I guess it's huge, but
There's a lot of tall ships here.
yeah, there's lots.
The tallest ship.
The tallest ship, yeah, it's the tallest ship. So I've been smelling these cinnamon roasted almonds all afternoon, and I'm super hungry. So I don't know what I'm going to do to get some food, but I might have to swing by after where we're going to get some later on.
This sounds like a good plan. There's a lot of good food out here. It smells good anyways. I haven't had a chance to taste any of it.
Yeah,
but
Ben and Jerry's. I haven't even walked over here yet.
Yeah, there's a lot. They've got a stage over there. I know like the ship, the Peruvian one, they were blasting some music on there too.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun out here, a lot of long lines, but they seem like the lines are moving pretty quickly.
Yeah, it seems like they're moving pretty good. So that's our
Yeah.
goal today, is to, you know, kind of navigate around and see some things and maybe show you some of the things that you missed if you were out here or you just didn't get a chance to come on out.
Yeah, it looks like, so we're headed to this Coast Guard ship, and
There it is.
I love the eagle that is at the top of the ship.
Isn't that cool?
It is beautiful.
Yeah, I haven't even seen this yet because we were at our booth and there's a giant ship in the way. I couldn't see it. There's a lot of tall
Yeah.
ships here. What is it, 60?
Yes.
60 tall ships?
60 ships. And I think that this was the one that led the parade of sail, and it was beautiful
Oh, I
when they
didn't
had
know
the
that.
sails up. It was so pretty.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. First one in, yeah.
First
okay,
one in,
so
okay.
it is the one.
Hey,
Thank you.
thanks. Yeah, the eagle is really cool. Look
And
at
it's
that.
holding a coin at the feet.
Oh, a coin.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's a
So,
little trinket.
it's-
By the way,
yeah.
the clouds are really pretty today too with these ships around.
Yeah.
Everything's neat. Well, I think we're gonna have to try and figure out a way to bypass the line. We'll be in line, but I think we're gonna have to work a little bit of magic.
In line.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I'm kind of seeing like, uh-oh, this is a big line. But
It is a big line.
But there's so much going on right now. I mean,
Yeah.
you can see all the food vendors over here. We really got lucky with Sail 250 for this year. I know we got a little spooked for the first day for Parade of Sail with that rain, but that moved out. Blue Angels flew over.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little cloudy, but in terms of the weather for this weekend, it couldn't be any better.
No, it's absolutely fantastic. I'm glad. So when I was watching the Parade of Sail, there were a few people, well, a lot of people that were around, but there were a couple of people that were talking about the weather, and they were like, I thought they said a cold front was coming through. And I'm like, all right, temperatures didn't get colder, but we do have a lot less humidity, and that makes a big difference.
So the goal once we get on board is we're going to learn more about their forecasting. So we're going to take a little pause right here. We'll catch you on the other side. All right, hey, welcome on board.
Yeah, we made it.
We made it on board. The line was a little long, but we made it on board.
Yeah.
And you're the weather coordinator, you said, for the Coast Guard for this Eagle ship, correct?
Yes, sir. For the crew on board, so I'll give the daily weather briefs to the wardroom, the chief's mess, and everybody else on board.
Okay, so give me kind of a day in your life doing that, because we're meteorologists here in our area. What's it like for you?
Yes, sir. So I get up a little bit earlier than everybody else on board. So I'll usually be up at about 5:30 or 6 a.m. to get the newest weather reports. We go straight to NOAA, get all of their surface analysis forecasts, wind and wave advisories, anything like that, as well as their 500 millibar forecast. Then I'll go brief the captain, the wardroom, and the chief's mess. So those are our more senior members on board. I'll brief them at around 7:45 every morning. Also, I like to share a fun fact and a today in history with today's weather, the 24-hour outlook, and then the 48-hour outlook. We move around a lot, so we can't really predict anything beyond that, just because where we are today is not going to be where we are on Wednesday. So,
Yeah.
you know, have to definitely vary it a little bit. And then I'll usually go do either my own watch or some more work, and then I'll give a brief to our mids watch. So is everybody who's up for the midnight watch. They might have missed a little bit in the morning, so then I catch them up to speed at around 10 a.m.
Cool. Wow.
Okay. Staying pretty busy. So do you find
ma'am.
it trickier to forecast when you guys are further out to sea?
Honestly, no. Once we're further offshore, everything stays a little bit more constant. Every now and then we do have, you know, that random low pressure system that pops up.
Yeah.
But for the most part, further out, it stays pretty constant. We don't have any of that interaction from the shore-based systems, so it's a little bit simpler to predict once we're out there.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't think of, because when you're farther out, it's like, okay, everything is just kind of like, it's there, and it's maybe easier to predict in a way. Never would have thought that. How many people are on board?
Right now we have a permanent crew of about 60 personnel with about, I think, 8 to 10 officers. Then the rest are made up of our enlisted personnel. We have a couple people on board as well, just temporarily helping us out. And then we have a little over 120 cadets on board right now.
Okay. So hopefully no one's giving you a hard time and say, hey, where are these clouds coming from?
Sometimes it's usually more the sailmaster wondering where our wind went. But yeah,
Yeah.
It's especially on a sailboat, it's really important to know just what's going on, what we're doing, and how we can get there safely.
Okay.
So how do you guys manage to maneuver around, say, a storm system that's out there in the sea?
So luckily this year we haven't had any serious storm systems pop up.
Sure.
We do have the occasional squall, especially once we were in the Gulf Stream.
Yes.
But it's pretty easy to catch those on radar and then maneuver around them. Our radar can look out to 10 to 12 nautical miles. We can also usually sight them visually on the horizon. So if we see a string of systems or a small squall pop up, we'll just steer our way around it and then come back to our course.
So in that situation, 10 to 12 miles plus visual, but let's say it's a little hazy so the visual doesn't work. Do you use a lot of GOES satellite as well to look at, see like where are these clouds starting to develop that's a little bit farther away?
Not usually. That's
Okay.
not part of our ordinary
Interesting, okay.
plan.
Okay.
But it's definitely,
yeah.
it's definitely something interesting. That kind of actually goes into my major at the academy. I'm a marine and environmental science major, so I do fisheries biology and geospatial intelligence. So we use a lot of those satellites to help me out with my work.
Yes, you do, yeah, because those satellites, I mean, it's not just the GOES, but there's also the other ones that do polar orbiting too as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We, at school at least, I like to use the Landsat. That's, my buddy. But pretty much anything up there that's going to give me the data I want, I'll use it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That is really cool.
Huh.
So what do you find to be the most challenging part?
Honestly, I have a lot of fun with the weather coordination on board, but I don't have a whole lot of experience sailing. So I'd say figuring out the wind and then working with our sailmaster to try to figure out what we want to do for sails. As a new sailor, I guess that's probably the hardest part for me.
Okay, I can see that. Makes sense. As meteorologists, it's always like if you move to different areas, you have to learn the patterns and everything and learn how that affects local communities. So it makes sense that it's the same on a sailboat.
Microclimates, but it sounds
Yeah.
like from what you said, there's still little areas that you have to watch when you're out at sea too, like the Gulf Stream for thunderstorm development, because we see it on our radar all the time, and I say, oh, well, that's over the Gulf Stream, not affecting us, but you could be in the middle of that.
Yes, sir. For a while we were as well. So we just came up from the Gulf, actually. So we were following the Gulf Stream pretty much the whole way up and around Florida. Definitely interesting weather. It was really cool on watch one time. I got to see the vertical development of a cloud and then watch it on the radar as well. So that was really cool. Luckily, that one didn't hit us. But then the other day, we actually did have 3 water spouts on my morning watch. So that was really interesting.
How
I've never
close were they?
They were about 8 to 10 nautical miles off.
Okay.
So a little close,
Yeah.
but luckily they weren't really moving at all. They weren't moving towards us. So, we came down in speed a little bit, kind of watched them off in the distance. They dissipated and we went on our way.
Okay.
That's cool.
That's great. So a lot of coordination with NOAA, obviously, for big, large-scale storm systems, and then forecasting and coordinating you're done yourself.
Yes, sir. We do have a pretty healthy partnership with the NOAA Corps as the Coast Guard.
Yes.
They'll go through our officer commissioning school with us. I've been taught by a few of their officers as well. And we just like to use all of their weather stuff.
What's the most difficult forecast you've had so far to do?
Ooh, that's a tricky question.
Or the most difficult weather to forecast for, like the fog or the wind. What's the hardest part for your job?
The hardest part is when the current forecast, the 24-hour forecast, and the 48-hour forecast are showing entirely different things. Usually you can, yeah, exactly.
No.
Usually I can kind of see a pattern a little bit and be like, all right, well, it's doing this now, so it's probably going to do this later. But this past week, it's been, well, it's doing this now. It might do this later, but it's probably not. So I don't really know what's going on anymore. Especially with, as you know, hurricane season's heating up. So we're tracking some systems that we've seen on NOAA's forecast. We're tracking them in the Gulf. But it's also really tricky because we're not on land. So where we're getting a lot of our reports that are more for the land and the land-based communities. And we're looking at that and we're like, well, I can't really use that, but
Yeah.
thanks anyway.
All right, cool.
Is there a limit to how far this ship can go out to sea, or are you guys capable of handling whatever seas are coming your way?
No limit. If we're looking at higher wind heights or larger wind speeds, we do try to go around that a little bit. But she's made several transatlantic crossings. She's made a trans-Pacific crossing. So,
Wow.
yeah, she can go anywhere.
Wow, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the largest swells that you've ever been in.
Largest swells I've been in were probably only about 10 feet, but one of our engineers on board was on for 36-foot waves, I think.
Whoa!
Oh,
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that's a story.
She can take some rolls.
Woo! Wow.
wow.
I don't want to be on board with that. 10
No.
feet is already big enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 feet's kind of cool. It's a little, I think it's cool when you're standing here and you're looking up into a wave. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Some people might disagree, but.
Yeah, when you're in the trough of a wave, like, ah! Yeah, yikes.
Yeah.
It's an experience.
Yes, sir.
It's an experience.
Yes. So, for scale, how tall is this ship?
So she is our mast height from the deck to the top of the mast is 147 feet.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, comparing that to that 36
Not a
foot
whole lot.
wave, I mean, yeah, but that's pretty, coming up pretty high.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. But she's a really good vessel. Actually, on her maiden voyage for the U.S. In 1946, she sailed from Bremerhaven, Germany to Falmouth, England, Falmouth to Bermuda, and then Bermuda to New York. But between Bermuda and New York, she actually did hit a hurricane, but she was completely fine. So.
Wow.
So I'm seeing, just as I I haven't walked the whole ship yet, but I do see some instruments that are all about. So the instruments that you're
sir.
using are just kind of here or there in different spots?
Yeah, so we like to put them where they're going to make the most sense for what we're trying to record. So we have our thermometers, our wet and dry bulbs back aft, so that way they're not getting any of the extra heat from the galley or the engine or anything like that. We have our 2 anemometers, one port, one starboard side, up high. And then we do a lot of visual stuff as well. So we have all of our, wind and wave charts, our cloud charts. So most of us can get pretty good at identifying stuff just on our own. But if we need any help, we have a couple of guides that we can flip through and look at that.
Give me the importance. Why do you do the wet bulb temperature? Why is that important?
So that gives us our relative humidity. We like to compare our dry bulb, which is what the air is actually doing, versus our wet bulb, and that gives us, the difference will give us our relative humidity.
Yeah, because when you're out in the middle of the water, it's not like, oh, let me go check the weather sensor that's over here or over there.
Right.
You're the only weather station, so you have a nice wide variety of things. Do you keep track of how much rain you collect? That probably doesn't matter that much, like a rain gauge.
Not usually.
Yeah, because it's not going to flood because we're in the water. so,
Exactly, yeah. We do have our
That was a silly question.
we do have our safety measures that we take on the onset of storms and restricted visibility due to fog and stuff like that. But we don't typically collect any of the rainwater to see how much we're getting.
Yeah, sure. Can you give us, I don't know how much time we've gone.
10 minutes.
We had 10 minutes? Okay, let's do one more question. So give me, for what you can say, what are some of those safety protocols and protocols that you do if there is an incoming hurricane or storm, tropical system just develops off the coast? Give me that.
So as a Coast Guard vessel, we typically steer around the storm. As the Coast Guard Cutter Eagle, we're not the ones to typically respond to a hurricane response, although it has happened in the past. But most larger cutters will go pretty far offshore, get out of the storm's path. Once the storm passes, we'll come back and help the communities. It's usually our small boat stations and our air rescue stations that will stay online in the storms. We, as far as I know, haven't had any hurricane issues over the past few years. But like I said, squalls, we'll try to steer around those. But sometimes, especially once we get further north, there's no avoiding that fog. So we do have to sail through it. We'll come down in speed, turn on some extra lights just so people can see us, we can see them. We'll also turn on our sound signals. So we have a really, really, really loud horn back aft. And yeah, you can hear that for a couple miles. So we'll turn that on. So that gives any vessels around us a better idea of where we are and what we are. We do have a different signal for if we're just motoring versus if we're sailing. We also secure all of our top side doors and hatches, so we'll just shut everything down to try to prevent that down flooding in the event of storms or anything like that.
Interesting.
Okay.
I learned a lot today.
I did too. I have one more question though. So you said that you guys don't do usually like rescue missions. Can you say what kind of your main mission is for this ship?
Yes, ma'am. So our main, sorry.
Sorry, that's my fault, yeah.
So our main 2 missions on board are training and public affairs. However, since we are still active Coast Guard, if there's a search and rescue case, a flare, distress, anything like that, and we're the first responding unit, we'll go and respond, just so we can be on standby and we can be on scene while we wait for our partners to respond as well. So for training, we will bring every cadet on board. I've been on board for 4 summers. I'm one of the lucky ones. So we bring kids on board with also our Sea Scout program, then a couple other programs. So come on board to learn some basic seamanship, learn how to work the decks, work the sails, and also the importance of wind and waves and weather. Everything we do comes down to that. So if you can learn it on a sailboat, you can go apply it to another vessel.
Awesome.
That's really
Thank
cool.
you, yeah.
Well, thank you very much, and remind me your name again.
I'm First Class Katie Mahoney.
Well, thank you very much, and we learned everything.
Yeah.
Maybe we could be a weather coordinator one day.
It's so much fun. I'm really glad that I have this job.
So what are some of the instruments? Show us around.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can't see it right now because of our canopy, but our most rudimentary instrument is our pennant all the way up top the main mast. Our aloft winds are usually a little bit different than what we're feeling here. So especially when we're steering, when we're under sail and we want to know what the top sails are feeling, we'll look all the way up, see that pennant and where it's going, and then we'll take it from there.
All right, so we're gonna take a little tour, see some of the instruments that they have on the ship. We gotta climb some of these steep stairs.
Okay.
Good luck, Jeff.
All right.
All right.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good, sir. How are you?
How's the weather? Sunny. Oh,
beautiful.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey.
How are you? Hey, say hi to Aisha. Talbot. You got it.
All right, so welcome back to our bridge and fantail. So we're at the back of the boat right now with our mizzen mast. This area is called the bridge. This is where all of our navigation and weather is done from.
Okay.
So right now we're not really letting people inside, but I can take you over here to look in.
Special.
Inside. Hey, Bob, we're going inside. You excited? Yeah.
All right, so right here is our wind board. It's a little, on the simpler side, but this is where we'll keep track of all of our wind,
Yep.
waves, everything else that's going on. Especially on a sailboat, it is super important to keep an eye on that wind. And so if the wind shifts too much, if we lose the wind, anything like that, we do have to let our sailmaster and our captain know so that they can make choices and go from there. Right here you can see all of our points of sail. So this is how we sail by the wind. So depending on where we want to go and where our wind is, we'll adjust our sails to different angles, off port or starboard.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, I see what you're trying to say.
I was trying to figure out how to explain it. So we can adjust our sails this way and then also this way. And so depending on what our wind is doing, we can pick however we want to sail.
That's so cool. These instruments that I'm seeing right here, are those for weather or are those for something else?
Those are our GPS, our
Okay.
radars up front.
Okay.
So you can kind of see that one. That's another one of our instruments. But yeah, so we have our radar and our anemometer, our GPS and our anemometers are up there. Right in here is our barometer. So it's a little funky. Usually we have to knock on it to figure out what it's doing. But this is our barometer, so we check it every hour just to make sure we're not running into a low system.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's
These-
important. Yeah, why is it getting low all of a sudden?
Yes, sir.
Yikes.
These are all of our sound signals. So as I said, when we go into restricted visibility, we'll have to use our different sound signals to let other vessels know where we are. And then in here, a very marine specific one. This is a maneuvering board. So depending on what our wind is doing and what we want our wind to do, we can actually plot out our true, relative, and desired wind on this. This is more so for our vessels that have helicopters and other aircraft on board, but we like to keep a couple on hand just in case. This can also be used as a paper radar, so if our radar goes out, we still have this.
Wow, it kind of reminds me of like a skew T in a way, but I know it's not a skew T, but it's like, this is really cool, really cool.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
It's the C version.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was neat. That was really cool. I don't know why just like a piece of paper gets me excited, but that was neat.
Well, welcome to being in the Coast Guard. We get excited
Yeah.
about it too.
Yeah, good.
And then these are some of our charts that we can use. So we'll go through, these are how we can kind of figure out what wind we might be or what weather we might be seeing in the next couple days.
The cloud types, yep.
And then this, once again, just some more cloud types in here for our logs, as well as all of our wind. So we can look at this.
Oh, that's cool.
In the event that our
Check that out, Christy. Can you see
aren't
that?
working,
Oh, okay, that's cool.
We
So
can
you
go
can
through
get an
this.
idea what the water surface looks like for the wind.
Oh, wow.
So you can, because I've never, now you can read the surface of the water for the wind speed.
yeah, and it puts it in.
Oh, that's cool.
It's in really easy to understand terms for mariners. I like pictures. I like being able to figure out what I'm looking at. So this is very helpful to me. So
I apologize. I don't use these scales. I'm a miles per hour because I'm just kind of stuck. I've always been told that around 13 miles an hour is when the whitecaps start to appear. Is that correct, or is it?
About so. It does. It depends on the other prevailing conditions as well. So if we have a higher wave height, if a system really far off is making some problems a couple miles away, that'll send some whitecaps our way, even if we ourselves are not experiencing those conditions.
Okay.
So we do still like to keep an eye on it, just for situational awareness. But
Okay.
yes, sir.
Wow. Learned a lot.
It's a really helpful chart.
Yeah, that's really cool.
All right. So that's it for our bridge.
Okay.
And sorry,
You're fine.
I'll just get the door behind you.
Oh, yeah?
It sticks a lot. All right, and then back aft are more of our instruments. Pardon me, sir. Hello. Excuse me. All right, and then right back here are our thermometers.
Yes.
A little bit hidden, they make me walk for
Yeah.
it. So we have our dry bulb over here, our wet bulb over here. So right now, 88 with 68 68 wet bulb, 88 dry bulb. So we usually go, here's our dry bulb temp, we'll round up to 90. And with that, then 8 to 10 degree difference. So we're looking at about 65 to 71% relative humidity right now from this.
Oh,
So,
they have
like
a
I
chart.
said-
See, that makes it easy. Yeah.
So
That's the old-fashioned way of doing things. Is just putting the thermometers in a box.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, they're supposed to be in the shade too.
Right,
Yes.
yeah,
Tough
so
to do when you're going around and you never know what the
exactly,
shade is.
yeah. No shady spot on a ship, so this is the best we can do for that. We
Yep.
also have it back aft, that way our galley smoke isn't going into it and heating it up, our
Yeah.
engines aren't heating it up. So yeah, and it's also nice to every now and then, every hour when I'm on watch, go and take a lap.
Yeah, totally. Well, thank you for the tour.
Yeah, of
It was
course.
nice to see some behind the scenes stuff. We learned a lot today.
absolutely.
Paper charts, wind speed, how they're reading that on the water, and then of course the thermometer right there. So thank you again.
Yeah, of course, thank you, sir.
Well, we have made it to the back of the ship. I am blanking on what it's called. Is this the bow or
It's the
is
eagle.
It
Oh, I don't know. That's why I didn't say that.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I don't know what direction I'm on right
I forgot
now.
my ship turns. That's my bad.
All I know is that we're on the Eagle,
We
and
are.
everyone was super, super nice.
And it was a great tour that we just went through.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was cool to see the different instruments and their little cheat sheet charts because, you don't have the internet when you're out in the middle of
Right,
the
you
sea.
don't. You don't have that internet, and if you need to plot things by hand, that's how they do it.
Yeah, so it was really cool to see. And then we were able to talk to the one gentleman that she was mentioning that saw 36-foot waves.
Yes.
That is insane.
Yeah, so you mentioned, it's around a 90-year-old ship, but he was
Yeah.
confident in the hull, he was confident in the ship, but there's a couple crew members probably on board that got a little nervous.
Yeah, especially
Not much
if it's
sleep that night.
Especially if it's your first time on a ship, your first deployment that you're out, that'd be a little nerve-wracking.
He said it was a coastal storm off of Hatteras.
Yeah.
So wherever exactly, I don't know, but 30-some foot waves off of Hatteras from a coastal storm, not even a hurricane.
No.
That's serious stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
I think we're out of time, but
Yeah.
thanks for coming along on this tour. We'll see you for another episode.